Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to an on-time Strutting Man show. That's right, on time. The show is on every night at 9:30 from here on out. I put that in my lives yesterday, I believe, and I believe I put it in my morning post today. I don't know if I got to tell about it in my first live of the day. I just now got it posted. So I'm not having the two live shows as of tonight. I've got two phones, but my TikTok account is not set up on my phone yet. I'm going to have to take it back to Cricket Wireless tomorrow. I was stuck there every bit of 4 hours. It's kind of depressing because I told them there that's why I wanted a second phone so I could do the two live shows starting tonight. And as you can tell, we're not getting to do that. So that's not on me. That's on Cricket Wireless. So I'm going to have to take it back there tomorrow. They supposed to have everything uploaded from this Cricket Wireless phone to that one, and everything is not thoroughly uploaded. So I'm going to have to take it back there tomorrow and have them work out all the kinks, so to speak. So can't be helped. When it's out of my hands, it's out of my hands. And I didn't have time to get all this shit done. I just now made it back from Cricket Wireless. That's how long I was stuck there. I was there from about 3 o'clock on this afternoon till about now. I got here roughly about, I don't know, about 45 minutes tops ago, and I had to go to Jack in the Box to get something to drink. So it is what it is. But the new show time is 9:30. That's just how it's going to be. I work my ass off every day and night, and I do. And I don't, people can either watch the show, be in the show, what have you, but it's going to be 9:30. Now in the winter months, it's going to be 5 and 6 o'clock p.m. But we're not in fall and winter. We're in summer. So I do a lot of social media work day in and at night until about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I can't add no more onto my plate than what I'm already doing. And uploading on this part of town is a royal motherfucker, just to put it bluntly. And I'm not the only one that says that. Everybody at this pharmacy will tell you that, and that's just the way it is on this part of town here. And that's out of my control. I make a lot of videos every day and at night too. So that's just the way it's got to be. Timothy goes, howdy, buddy. Yeah, I guess y'all got my message. I had enough time to text y'all to tell you it wouldn't be on the TikTok live tonight either, because it's wanting me to verify who in the fuck I am. All this data on this phone was supposed to put over on that phone. That was the hang up. So I shouldn't have to be proven who in the fuck I am. So I'm kind of pissed about it, to be honest with you. It's one thing if my time is going to be taken up where I can't do my other social media work, but I expect things to be done a certain fucking way, so I'm going to have to go back there tomorrow, to have them work these kinks out, because I don't have time to work them out. That's just the way it is. I mean, all I got to post was my first live of the day, and I just got it posted a while ago. So that'll tell you I had no time. And when they're taking data from one phone to put on another, you can't do nothing with the phone that they're taking the data from. You can't listen to music. You can't do no social media work. You can't do nothing. It's like uploading like I do from a video here. Once you start uploading, you got to keep it on that platform till it's uploaded, or it don't get uploaded, So that's just how it is. I don't know how to be more blunt about it. Now I'm not real pissed off about it, but I expected everything to be on that phone like it's supposed to have been before I ever got back here, and it's not. The only thing different about the other phone is the phone number. They said I had to get a different phone number, but everything's supposed to be the same on that's on this phone right here, and it's just not all that way right now. But they'll get it worked out tomorrow. That I can tell you that much. If they don't, they can give me a refund and I can give them this phone back, because the second phone's only going to be used for a second live show, and that's it. Jamie goes, wow, just wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, accidents happen. I know they do. It shows that I've got TikTok, but it's wanting me to verify who in the fuck I am, So I'll let them work all that out of there on Cricket Wireless on Southwest Drive tomorrow. They'll get it worked out. I know they will. And it was a different woman. She's from the Paragould office, and she's like the manager over there at that one. But I mean, I didn't stay to make sure all that was worked out. I had to hurry up and leave right then. I couldn't stay to see if it was worked out, was the thing, see. This is going to be the only day that I'm not going to get to do all my social media work in one day. I'm just not going to be able to get it. There's no way. I didn't get a commentary segment made. I didn't get an evening post done. I didn't get a second live of the day done. And it don't look like I'm going to get none of that. It's out of my control. Well, I mean, it's okay. It shows I got TikTok. It just, they'll just have to work the kinks out tomorrow, which they will. They'll work it out. I mean, I'm just kind of pissed that all that wasn't done before I should have stayed to make sure it was done. So that's kind of a little bit on me, but I didn't have time to stay. I told them then, I said, I'm so far behind on my social media work. There's no way I'm going to get it caught up, so I didn't have time to stay there and wait, because it was going to be dark on me. I thought it was going to be dark on me before I got back. I actually made it back before dark. And just right when I sat down is when Timothy pulled in. So that already go to show you, I mean, things are out of my hand. They're out of my hand. But it'll get worked out tomorrow. I mean, if it don't, they can give me a refund. And I can give them the phone back. But, I mean, they'll get it worked out. But, I mean, that's why when it was uploading all that shit, and it was going to take at least 3 hours, I just went ahead and went and got my SIGs for the month and went and ate at Pizza Inn to get those two things out of the way, and good thing I did. And on a verification code, it only gives you about 40 seconds once you go find the verification code to get that put in there. And I didn't have time to fuck with it. Jenny goes, hey, everybody, where is everybody at tonight? Where is Jared? I don't know. Don't know. I seen Scott at the beginning, but that was about it. I just barely seen. He said, what's up, I think. Don't know. But the new time is 9:30. Now, some people can't swing that. This is what I say anyways. Y'all know this. For 15 months, I've said this. If you got something better to do, go do it. You ain't got nothing else better to do, then watch the show or be in the chat. If you got something better to do, I'd tell you, go do it. At Red goes, hey, brother. Hey, Red. Jerry hadn't been acting right the last 2 nights, so I don't know with Jerry. I mean, he's not been talking right or acting right. I don't know. There's no telling with Jerry, because I don't know. USA hadn't been in the chat in a few nights. Jared was in last night, but so far he's not been in, but it's not to rule him out. He might still come in. Red goes, how's the night going for you? Going pretty good. I'm just now cooling off. Jamie goes, hi, Red. Red goes, hey, Jamie. Oh, welcome to the show tonight, Red. Jamie says, that's right. We welcome newcomers. Welcome in. There you go. I mean, I don't know if Rebel's going to be here tonight or not. All that's being said, they may all come in here kind of late, Jamie. Sometimes that happens too, I know things come up with people. I'm a human being. Things come up with me. Look, for example, didn't get no social media work really done today, because I was kind of held at bay. I had this feeling last night that's what was going to happen, that it was going to be like when I went with my Metro phone. In order to ship all that stuff over to the other phone, that's what was going to happen. I was right. Jamie goes, we are glad to have a new guest. That's true, on the show tonight. That's true. Jamie goes, hello. Yup, it's me. Oh, wait a minute. Is that, are you Rebel? Red? At Jakin says, hi. Hey, Jakin. Thanks for coming in here. Is that you, Rebel? Is that you that's Red? I could be wrong. No. Okay. All right. I thought maybe you might have been a rebel for some reason. I don't know why I kept thinking that. Uh, no. Okay. But hey, I hope everybody had a great Tuesday day. I mean, I had a great day overall. Don't get me wrong. I had a pretty good day. I did. I got my two microphones too, guys. I got to thinking about that when I was there too. There's really no way I can really do an interview once a week while I'm taking a strutting break. I'm going to have to do scheduled interviews once a week, and maybe in my day or not do a strutting day during the week to interview someone once a week. So yeah, I got to really thinking about that. Uh, I don't know who that is. Okay, Red. I just thought for some reason you might have been a rebel. I didn't know. I don't know why that popped in my head, but it did. But okay, well, Jamie, you know who Red is? Is that Jay Lynn that you're calling Jay Lynn? I guess so. No. Okay, Red goes no. Welcome to the show. Okay, Jakin. Who is that? Who are you talking to, Jamie? It's not showing it on my phone. I'm just a random. I swear. Okay, well, I believe you. I believe you, Red. I don't know who Jamie's talking to on here though. Jamie goes somebody. Well, that somebody ain't showing on my phone. Yeah, I'm like you, Red. I don't. I have any. I don't have any idea. I know the name is Jakin, but I haven't seen Jakin nowhere in the chat. Red says the same thing. That Red doesn't see it either. I mean, I know they got iPhones, and I don't. I got Android, but it's not showed it. Red says the same thing. It showed it in her or his phone either. Yeah, that's strange. I know it. That's what I was thinking. But I mean, an iPhone will show up before an Android will. But I mean, the Android will show it too. Red goes, I'm on my tablet. Okay. Well, it might be a troll. Could be because I'm not seeing it. No, and Red's on a tablet, and Red says it's not showing on its tablet. So, and I think it's a troll. You never know, Jamie goes. That's right. Because by now it would have done showed on mine. And Red is on a tablet. So, well, I bet it is. Yeah, I'm going to say it is. Yeah, that's what Red's saying, a troll. I mean, that's what I'm thinking too. I don't know. Scott got out. I only seen that one comment, that he'll usually say right off the bat, but he could be just listening and I don't know it. Could be a bot. That's true too. It could be a bot. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, just listening. Scott said. I've seen that from Scott. Okay. Yeah. I want to thank Red. I mean Red. I'm sorry, Red. I want to thank Major for this mighty fine big chair he got me. It's a lot bigger than the other two chairs. Which the other two chairs were good. The black one is still in really good shape, but I wore the red one out. He got me an Arkansas Razorbacks. If it ain't brand new, it looks brand new, and it's really big. Thanks, Major, so much for it, my friend. I greatly appreciate it. He left it right where I told him to kind of leave it at. Jamie goes, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's really big. It's for, big guys like me. It's got two holders instead of one holder, a holder on each side. So thanks so much for this Arkansas Razorbacks chair, Major. I hope you're having a great evening, my friend, you and your girlfriend and your kids and grandkids and her son tonight. Wanted to say we always come to you live every night from my good friend's pharmacy here, Mr. Mike Sue, the owner of Parker Road Specialty Pharmacy here on Parker Road. I'd like to thank Kim, Doreen, Justin, and all the gang here for always letting me hook up out here and charge my stuff up and do all my social media work here as well as my live show. It's greatly appreciated. And folks, if you're looking for a good pharmacy, they fixed me up right over here. I've been doing business with them for 7 straight months, and there's no other better place I'd rather be than to my equal to that, which is Gibson's Pharmacy over on Matthews. All the fine ladies and the gentlemen there will fix you right up there. They're both mom and pop pharmacies. They're not national chains. Looking for a pharmacy, go to either one of them two and tell them the Strutting Man sent you. Major goes, you bet. Okay, thank you so much, Major. I appreciate you. Good to see you in here too. Scott goes, thank you, Major. That's right. Thank you again. Red goes, I am okay. I must have missed a comment I did. Could be a bot, yeah. And then Red goes, I am actually. I live in Florida though. Okay, that's all right. You can live wherever in the United States or the world you want to live in. That's for sure. Major, give me a thumbs up. Thank you, Major. Scott, second that motion there. Like I said, I had a great day. Don't get me wrong. I knew that was probably going to happen when I went to Cricket. I mean, it's one thing if I didn't want to keep all the data, but I wanted to keep it. So if I didn't want to keep it, it'd been a 10-minute thing, and I'd been out the door. But I did get my microphones from there today too. It was Taylor from the Paragould office. She's the manager over there, and she come in to help fill in today. And stuff. So, and Taylor is spelled U-R, not O-R. She kind of knew me from, she remembered seeing me start the strut thing over in Paragould. So we talked some about that, about her and her husband and some stuff over there, killing time. Welcome, Red from Florida. That's right. Welcome from Florida, Red. Red goes, Florida is so hot, it was like 100 out. Well, it was supposed to felt like today around 103 to 105, but it wasn't supposed to be that. I think it felt around that if I was a betting man, Red goes, I went outside to go to my car and my shoes were sticking to the pavement. Yeah. Well, it was pretty humid here too, so, I mean, we know that happens here, like they do down in Florida, it's part of summer, and we're supposed to be at the beginning of a heat wave now. So that's the way it is, come late July and August, it'll be even worse than this. So but I don't know if the other regulars are going to be in here tonight. Jamie goes, we are glad you are on our show talking to us and enjoying the show with us. We sure do love having new people on the show. Of course we do. With us to have new people to talk to tonight, Red. Well, what is Major Chop Liver? Or Scott, the moderator? Red goes, I work on the boats and yachts for restoration in this time of year. I guess it means it's horrendous down there. I bet. I mean, yeah, you got the oceans down there on the west coast, the east coast, the south coast. So you got the tropics. So yeah, but I mean it stays pretty tropical here as well. So I know a worse place than Florida and even here, and that's Southwest Oklahoma. So if you think it's hot here, you think it's hot in Florida, believe me, it's hotter in Southwest Oklahoma. The temperatures get up to 115, 118 degrees. The humidity is worse. Sometimes it feels like 130 to 133 degrees. So it's worse there. It's so hot in Southwest Oklahoma, they do not have mosquitoes. Not in Southwest Oklahoma. They have rattlesnakes, centipedes, but they don't have mosquitoes because it's hell on earth. Yeah. Jamie goes, now I'm glad best friend Scott is on here with me always, of course. Jamie goes, always like when I'm on here with Scott, of course. Man alive. Okay, now I don't know necessarily what you mean, man alive, Red. I'm sure you'll let us know here. I feel like man dead. I mean, I really boot scooted to get back here and to at least get my first live of the day posted, so Jamie goes, and hello, Major. Glad you're on here too. Oh yeah, Major more than not checks the show out. He tells me that a lot of times he'll just get it up on his laptop, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's always good to have Major in here, actually in the chat. Uh, Jamie goes, glad you talked to Major. Well, I didn't get to talk to him today, but he left the chair where he said he would leave it. As a matter of fact, when I got ready to come out of the forest, it was right there in front where I told him to put it at. So and I thought, well, man, hell, that's even bigger than the other two chairs. So I was agreeing with that you said. About the heat in Southwest Oklahoma and how it is in Florida and Arkansas and stuff like that. Now there is a big difference. Y'all get hurricanes there. We can't get a hurricane up here. All we can get at the very highest, would be a tropical storm. That'd be the highest we could get. Most generally it's a tropical depression or lower here. You know, now we can get the tornadoes. I think it's on the west side. But and we can get it to where it just rains itself out. But we can't get actual hurricanes up through here. He goes, yes, I thought that's what she was meaning, Red. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what true heat was till I moved there. Until that, well, I remember we moved there in the summer, but it was early summer. And I'll never forget, I told my mom, I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to get used to this. I never really did. That was the thing. I just never could. My late father-in-law had told me back then, he goes, even us locals, it takes us 2 weeks to get used to the heat here. So that's what I'm saying. My mom used to say, man, I loved it, Southwest Oklahoma. I said, what'd you fucking like about it? I said, it's hell on fucking earth. I said, you like it so much, go back on out there. I mean, it's so hot, there's no fucking mosquitoes. No trees hardly. Timothy goes, you were soaked with sweat when I got there. You bet I was. Yeah. It was pretty. It was to me. It was hotter today than it was yesterday. That's just me. Red goes, I've been raised here, so I've been through all hurricanes back to Andrew. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all get the hurricanes there. You're right, Timothy. I was soaked. I still am some. I mean, my shirt is not dried out yet, but I'm not sweating as bad as I was like when you first got here. I just sat down right when you got here, Timothy. I just come from Jack in the Box, and I was fresh from there to there once I come and got my cup, and I come back from Cricket Wireless. So you bet I was. I was soaked. That's all I do is stay wet when I'm out here. Red goes, also went to some college in California, and I've been through some earthquakes. Yeah. I mean, we supposed to have a catastrophic one through here anytime between now and the next 7 years. But they said this back about close to 30 years ago. Within 35 years, we were supposed to get a catastrophic earthquake from the New Madrid fault. But yeah, we could get that, but who knows? It could be 100 years away. We don't know. Or it could be tomorrow night. We don't know. They just give you their best educated guess, the geologists do, and that's about all they can do. Did you guys see what's going on in Venezuela? I seem like I've heard something about it. The earthquake that happened over there. Yeah. I've been getting filled in here a little bit here and there on the social media platforms. It's devastating. See, we're not built for nothing like that here. So if we get a 6 point, just a 6 point on the Richter scale, it'll level everything through here. Nothing's built to, we're not earthquake. Nothing moves with an earthquake through here. We're not built for that. So yes, yeah, in California now, most of the buildings that they're building new, they're supposed to move with an earthquake. They call them like earthquake proof. A lot of them. Anything that was ever built here was not built to withstand an earthquake here. So that's why it would be catastrophic if we just got a 6 point on the Richter scale here. And we're supposed to be underwater through here from the Mississippi River. So, but who knows when it will actually happen? Could not ever happen. You never know. Or Red goes, when I was a kid, I remember seeing the building swaying on the street from an earthquake. Yeah, yeah. In San Francisco, yeah. Now the earthquake that's supposed to hit here, supposed to be felt as far away as the East Coast, far away as the North West Coast, but it won't do no damage in those areas. Matter of fact, the hills it won't even do no damage in here in Arkansas. They'll feel it there, but that's about it. Uh, I mean, every state's got something you're not going to like about it when it comes to a natural disaster. You know, there's no state that's okay. Uh, Hang on, guys. I got to move over a little bit. It reconnected because it was losing signal. Let me see about if I can hook my phone up. Well, I know that's why I didn't do that. So let me see here. I'll have to scoot on back over a little bit to hook my phone over. But it reconnected because it lost signals. Why? It should be all right here. Okay. Okay, now I don't know. Okay, Red goes, if you look at the construction materials from like the destruction in Venezuela, it's all like pottery, right? It's like the ceramic tile stuff, just like the tiles, the red tile that you put on the roof, right? Right. Now I forget what it was on the Richter scale. Do any of y'all remember what it was in Venezuela on the Richter scale, as far as the earthquake strength? Because that I can't remember on that. I know it was a catastrophic earthquake, and they rescued quite a few people, but there's supposed to be thousands upon thousands more that's died. It was a 2. It was a 2. A 2 on the Richter scale can't cause that kind of damage. Okay, back to back, 7.5. They were 39 seconds. Okay, I was going to say a 2. We get 2s through here all the time, and it don't do no damage apart. Okay. They were like 2 minutes apart. Probably aftershocks after the major when you have the aftershocks. So that's probably what it. Of course, aftershocks can be pretty potent. Of course, I'm not downplaying that. Red goes, yeah, that's because their stuff is made out of pottery, right? If you look at any of the films that they have, you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know it. That's what I thought too when I was looking at some of what was posted on Facebook about it. You know, crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, every country, has bad things that happen to it. Of course, from natural disasters. So I saw Red goes. I even saw one high rise built with bamboo. Right. He goes, note to self: don't build high rises out of pottery and bamboo. Right. Just build it out of bamboo. Don't build it out of pottery and bamboo. If you got to pick between the two, just pick bamboo. If you had to pick. I know that Venezuela is kind of like a third world country, if I'm not mistaken. Jamie goes, wow, that's big earthquake. Yeah. Well, I mean, if we get a 7.5 through here, I mean, nobody would be probably alive through here. I mean, either. So, Jamie goes, oh my God, right. So I mean, I hate that too, because of course it's took a lot of lives, and what one's got to live probably sustained a lot of injuries from too. So, tell you, first thing I saw when I left Stratton from the Parker Road Specialty Pharmacy today, as soon as I crossed the street here on Parker, I come upon a big dead black snake. And that's what it was, just a black snake. It wasn't a cottonmouth or nothing like that. But it was dead. And when I seen it, I said, well, rather you than me. Red goes, well, Elon Musk is putting up free Starlink, and people, they were trapped in the buildings are videoing themselves and putting it on TikTok, and that's how they're finding survivors. Okay. I don't know what Starlink is. I've never heard of Starlink, but that don't mean nothing on my end. But I mean, if he's putting people up, I mean, more power to Elon Musk if he's doing that. Scott goes, internet? Okay. That's probably why I hadn't heard of it. Red goes, Starlink is like his free Wi-Fi, and he like sends it out to people. They're in need all over the world. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a big Elon Musk lover, but I mean, if he's doing stuff like that, then of course I'd appreciate that. But, you know, I mean, I'm not an Elon Musk hater either. Don't get me wrong. I just don't have nothing in common with wealthy people is what I more or less mean. I don't. And they don't have nothing in common with me, you know, and that's probably what they would tell you. Red goes, there's satellites. Okay, yeah, Scott said internet. He goes, I don't care about him. Well, him and Trump was supposed to be damn good buddies, then they had a damn big falling out. So it's like a friend of mine, Richard, said, when it comes to the internet, one day you'll see someone saying something really nice about a person. Then the next day they're saying, well, you motherfucker. You know? So that's true too. LOL, yeah. But you got to understand something with them too. With Trump, and this is what I would say about Trump and Elon Musk. This is something they both have in common. Well, they have something in common that they're real wealthy, right? But this is the second thing they have in common. Their egos are both out of the stratosphere. And when you got that, the two things that they have in common, then thirdly, they're probably not going to get along, you know. So, you know. If I was a betting man, of course, Elon's more wealthier than Trump, but Trump's wealthy too, you know. And then, but they both got an ego that goes right out of the stratosphere, you know. Red goes, you're right. When you got those two things in common, that usually means the third strike is you're not going to get along. If not, I mean, it's one thing if you get along, but you're probably only going to get along for a little bit. Then you're going to have a falling out, you know. So, I mean, Elon is kind of like the rock star car makers, I guess you could say, which nothing wrong with that. Trump, he's like the rock star of the deal, making the deal, you know, whatever the deals are that he, you know, all that he makes, you know. So, and of course, Trump's ego's way out the roof, but Elon's is too. I think Elon, has he made that rocket yet, or did it blow up again? I think it blew up again. You know, I know Jeff Bezos had one successfully go up, you know. I mean, there's a little bit of difference in age. I think Trump is, ain't he quite a little bit older than Elon? I think he's 80 now. So, Red goes, I'm not real sure if you did. I don't follow up on him. Okay. Well, I mean, that's the way Trump kind of is. He's like the rock star of the art of the deal when it comes to making deals. And I think Elon, oh, I know what you're saying. You're talking about the rocket part. I think, see, it had a rocket go up the second time. And I think it, if I'm not mistaken, I think it did the same thing. Either that or they grounded it because it was going to. It was one way or the other. So, you know, Jeff Bezos, he had one go up finally, you know, a while back. You go, yes, yeah. I too stoned for anything. Rebel Sun. There's Rebel Sun in here finally. Well, that sounds like you, Rebel Sun. Uh, yeah, that's what I think. Thought you was talking about. Uh, Red. Yeah. Timothy goes going to bed. Okay, Timothy. Thanks, buddy. Timothy had just gotten off work when he pulled in here. I remember him telling me that. I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, they had a breakdown at work." So, and that was like about when he first pulled in here. I think it was like about 15 to 9. So, and I had just sat down right when he pulled in here. Red goes, "Hello, Rebel." But thanks for being in here, Timothy. Hello, Red. I'm stoned as rock. But I mean, Jared may still be having some troubles, and I don't know it. I was thinking he would probably for sure be back in the show tonight, but I don't know. Red goes 420. 420 somewhere all the time. Jamie goes, "Hello, Scott." Red goes 420 friendly over here. Yeah, it's always 420 somewhere. You still on here, Scott? Yeah, there he is. He goes, "Hello." Rebel Sun goes, "I'm so stoned, I feel silly all over and loose as a goose." Sounds like it. Lhasa. Jamie goes, "What's up, Scott?" But yeah, it's uh I was talking, well, when I was in at cricket today, a young lady come in there with some scrubs on, and she goes, "My boyfriend just loves seeing you out there when he sees you." I said, "Like you don't?" She goes, "Yeah, I do, I do, I do." I said, "Well, who's your boyfriend?" She said, "Landon." I said, "Well, I got two Landons. One's real young and one's in his 30s." She said, "Mine's like," I think she said 19. I said, "Yeah, he's the younger one." And then she said, "You ain't gonna," she was, I guess she dialed him up on video call. She said, "You ain't gonna believe who I'm talking to here." She said, "Ozzy." And she turned the camera around. Sure enough, that was Landon. So it was always good to meet. I'd never met her. I met Landon before at Workout Anytime Fitness Gym, but I'd never met her. And I asked her when she let the call go, I said, "Do you go there and work out?" She said, "Oh, no." uh, Scott goes, "Just listening, talking everything in. Uh, what do you have for supper tonight, Scott?" Jamie's asking you. Earl Campbell's. Okay. Jamie goes, "Yeah, me too, Scott." All right. And Red goes, "I had stuffed shells." Okay. Jamie goes, "I'm doing that too." What stuffed shells? Uh, I've never heard of stuffed shells. Uh, Stuffed shells with ricotta cheese and red sauce. Okay. Of course, I've heard of ricotta cheese. Uh, Sounds good. Well, Rebel says, "Fuck, I'm stoned." But I'm still kind of wondering about Jared. I think they're probably still having more problems than not, sounding like to me, guys. I don't know about y'all. I hope not. He said he turned his life over to God and that they're working their problems out. They're back to living together, in the same house. But I don't know. I think they're on shaky ground, probably still yet. Uh, Red goes, "Can I have some?" Talking to Rebel. High as fuck dog shit. Sounds like it. Red goes, "Throw it through the phone." There you go. Jamie goes, "All know you're stoned. We all know you're stoned." Yeah, I think we kind of get the drift. Uh, Son goes, "I'm going to ride a horse. Well, you might want to think about that. Hank Williams Sr. got drunk and thought he'd get on a horse and act like a horse's ass. Well, he did, and the horse bucked his ass off, and it fucked his back up. And the doctor put him on morphine, but for the pain. But the thing about it was he was drinking liquor and using that morphine, and that's what took his life at 27 years old. You know, but that's what happens when you get fucked up and you get on a horse and you act like a horse's ass. It's going to throw you off. You know, it's going to reject you acting that way. Jay goes, Scott timed him out. Red goes, did you know that it's legal to drink and ride your horse? Well, it may be legal, but I don't advise it. Because if you get on a horse and you act like an ass, drunk or sober, that horse will buck your ass off. It won't play with you. You know, horses are really funny. Red goes, LOL, ha ha ha. I mean, you know, and that's what happened with Hank Williams Sr. He got on that horse drunk and acted like a royal fucking ass on that horse, and that horse did not take that. You know, Red goes, yes, I know. So, I mean, you know, which ultimately down the road led to his death when you don't mix morphine and alcohol. You know, I know he was in a lot of back pain. That's why the doctor gave him morphine, but I'm sure the doctor advised him not to be consuming alcohol with that. Red goes, the animal's probably already going to smell it on him and get freaked out. Well, they usually don't get freaked out even if you're drunk when you get on one. It's when you act like a horse's ass on there, drunk or sober, that they'll get mad and throw your ass off, you know. And of course, you know, he didn't mean to intentionally get his life taken. Hank Sr. didn't, by taking morphine and drinking some liquor. You know, he didn't mean to. He laid down in the back of his car. He was on tour, and that's how he died, you know. So I know he didn't mean to do it. That's just what happened. That's horrible. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, you know, it's a lot of people, big time singers, lost their life at 27 too. Jim Morrison was one. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin was 27. I mean, you know, it happens, you know. But most of your singers and band members, when they're on tour, when the concert's over with, the majority abuse drugs and alcohol because they can't wind down and go to sleep after listening to them amplifiers for 2 hours. So that's how a lot of them get hooked on drugs and alcohol, just to simply go to sleep, because they can't unwind and go to sleep, you know. Red goes, Lover Tree. Oliver Tree just died. Boy, that's a good one. My own take about Jim Morrison, knowing what I knew back then and what I know now about Jim Morrison, he staged his death. He was already sentenced to a state prison in Florida when he went to his apartment in Paris, France. At that time, there was no extradition treaty between France either. His attorneys had him free on bond, pending getting a new trial. So, but he'd done been sentenced, I think, to 5 to 8 years. So he called a plane and went there. When he died, nobody on his side of the family came to the funeral. No fingerprints was recorded off of him. I believe he's still alive up in, I think it's in Connecticut, somewhere up there. That is Jim Morrison. He goes by a different name. But I never believed for a minute that Jim Morrison actually died. I believe he staged his own death, you know, to get out of going to a Miami prison. You know, it's not so much of a conspiracy theory. The guy that they have caught up with, I think it's up in Connecticut, he looks exactly like Jim Morrison did back then and today, except with an ivory white beard and ivory white hair. And he looks exactly like Jim Morrison, you know. So nobody on his mom and dad's side come to the funeral. They didn't have an open casket funeral. You know, so, and nothing was recorded off of Jim Morrison when he supposedly died in 71. So I'm a firm believer that was, you know, Jim never died. You know, Red goes, what about the UFO files? They rehearsing. What do you think about that? Well, a lot of UFOs are not binding, then some are. I've only witnessed one in my entire life, and I had a 30-something-year-old man was with me at the time. He pointed it out to me first at night when I seen it, I knew it was nothing of this earth. So, I mean, I believe there's intelligent beings from other planets. That's my own take. I find it hard to believe out of all the planets in the solar system that we've discovered, the ones that we haven't discovered yet, I find it hard to believe we're the only life on this planet. There has to be other intelligent life. So it's not a far stretch. Some of the UFOs were explainable, but some of them, a lot of them are not, you know. Scott goes, it's okay, just don't let it happen no more, Rebel. I see up here where Rebel said, now, I'm sorry, guy, I got out of hand. Well, it's okay. I'm like Scott, I think maybe he was just taking it a little too far, but that happens. Yep, that's right, Scott. Jamie goes, tell him, Scott. Oh, he did. Red goes, I concur. Yeah, it happens. But yeah, I mean, this guy that I've been learning about, he goes by Freddie or something like that. I've seen where John Densmore, Ray Manzarek, as well as I was trying to think of the other band member of the Doors. They've all met up with him, had their pictures taken with him and everything. It's Jim. So, but that's why he had it staged as a death, because he knew someday he would come back to the United States. So believe me, if it wasn't even reported that he was dead to the outside world even until after 3 days he'd done been dead. So you tell me. I mean, no fingerprints was recorded. Okay. And the coroner just listed it as a heart failure when he did finally come to the house, which was about 2 or 3 days later. So, I mean, and Jim knew that one day he would come back to the United States. But at the time, if he'd have stayed alive in France, they couldn't have extradited him back from France to America to serve out his time, even if they hadn't got it out on appeal, him free. Because he got sentenced. The day he got sentenced, his attorney said, well, can we get him out on bond, free on appeal, Lord? Your Honor. And he said, yeah. So, I mean, he'd done been sentenced to either 5 or 8 years for lewd contact in concert, supposedly whipping his pecker out. So I just don't really buy that was, there wasn't nobody. He put it like that. There was nobody that was supposed to be in Jim Morrison, because he didn't die. So now Pam Corson, his lover, did die 3 years later from an accidental overdose of drugs. She did. Scott goes, what did you think about my wise TikTok live, Miss Jamie? What TikTok? I didn't know you did a TikTok live. I liked it. What did you? Okay. Red goes, Rebel, you all right by me? Jamie goes, I like it, Scott. So did Scott do a live show today on TikTok? Is that what y'all are saying? I mean, more power to him if he did. And it's not a conspiracy theory with Jim Morrison. It's just the facts that I do know. When you die and you're in another country, especially, and you're not from that country, there's a series of things that have to happen. Your fingerprints get recorded. Okay. Now you could say, well, he could have still really died. Yeah, he could have still really died. But at the time, his dad was alive, his brother was alive, his sister was alive. I believe his mother was alive at the time too. So, and none of the band members from the Doors got to see him in a casket because there was no open casket. So, Red goes, I found out about this live stuff today. Rebel Sun goes, how y'all all fellas doing tonight? Well, I'm doing good, Rebel. Thanks for asking. Red goes, good. Just at home watching the show. Okay. Major, are you still in here? I was going to have Major check something out. If he's still in here, that is. He may not be. Red goes, don't mind me. I'm just taking a break. Well, that's what I do with this live show every night. That's usually me to get to take finally a break. But it looks like tomorrow night will be the two live shows at the same time. I'll get that worked out tomorrow. I'll go back to Cricket Wireless and get it worked out. Red goes, by the way, if you Google about Owl learning how to walk two dogs in 3 to 5 years, they say, yes, it's true. How to talk to dogs, 3 to 5 years, they say it's true. Scott goes, is it going to be hard to do shows at one time? Not as far as I know, no. I've got 2 plugs here, one for a phone right here, one right below the phone for right here that come with the new stand when I bought it at Cricket, so that's not going to be hard. It's just one phone I'll do on YouTube Live, the other phone I'll do on the TikTok Live. But to let everybody know, I'm re-suspended again from Facebook Live for an extra 4 more days down the road because they didn't like the live show highlights. And what it boils down to is it wasn't what we was talking about. Mark Zuckerberg and his fucking company don't like that I don't do a live show anymore. I said this a while back. I thought that's what it was from. It never would say how I violated community guidelines until last night. And so that's what it is. They don't like it that I don't do a live show on Facebook. You know, but I don't care what Mark Zuckerberg don't like. Jonesboro, Arkansas, y'all know what we tell people like Mark Zuckerberg. What is it? I can hear you, Jonesboro. Kiss his ass. Rebel goes, that's good. Red, me and Ozzy would have a crazy time together. Probably. Red goes, they're saying we are going to be able to speak to dogs in 3 to 5 years. Well, you can speak to them now. Sometimes I think they know what you're saying, and sometimes they probably don't. I don't know. I mean, that's just what I get from dogs sometimes. That sometimes they know right what you're saying, and sometimes they don't. Use an owl. Well, anything's possible with owl. You know. I call it owl. I don't call it AI. I just call it owl. You know, I know they do cloning and some crazy stuff, but my mom, when she was alive, she said, you know, I know this cloning thing is catching on. I said, yeah. She goes, I hope they don't get to cloning humans. I said, well, yeah. She said, you take in your case, the world would come to an end if they fucking cloned you. She said, it you know, it'd be murder. I said, boy, wouldn't it be? And it would be. Rebel Sun goes, I'm going to come to Jonesboro, Arkansas this weekend, Ozzy. I'm going to drive around and try to find you. Well, when you find me, maybe I can find me too, and we'll both be in accordance then. Rebel Sun goes, do y'all have a bowling alley? Yeah. Yeah, we got one here. That's about all there is to do here is either go bowling or go to an expensive Malco or go to Hijinks, which is kind of high too. Other than that, it's shop and eat. In a town of about 83,000, you know. I mean, really, that's all Paragold's got is a Malco, bowling alley, That's roughly about it. Same thing in same two towns. The only difference is we got about 53,000 more people than what Paragould has. We used to have other things here, but they went out of business. You want to go hang out this weekend, Ozzy? Well, I usually always busy working. Now it's true. I can make some stuff up later on in the day if I miss out on one or two things, but there's no way I can make up for everything I missed today. There's just no way. It ain't going to happen. There's not going to be any second live of the day. I can tell y'all that, Jonesboro. There might be an evening post, maybe. There may not be a commentary segment either. So, I mean, but like Major would say, if he was here, you know, you can't afford to miss one day from all that. It's not like you're not well known now. So, I mean, it's not going to be no crime. In which it ain't going to be, you know. When things are out of my control, that's the way I have to look at it. It doesn't mean I have to like it. Jamie goes, well, I'm ready for September and October for 50s and 60s weather. Well, I don't like it when it's extremely cold, even going strutting. I don't like it because the fingertips on my fingers get cold from fibromyalgia. That's the only symptom I suffer from that. No matter if I've got two pairs of gloves on each hand. That's why I don't like it in the winter months. But well, they said it. See, they said they didn't know if that was from the fibromyalgia or from peripheral neuropathy. You know, but I really don't suffer no symptoms or for rheumatoid arthritis either because I do so much typing. I'm working my fingers. Rheumatoid arthritis affects your fingers and your hands. It really doesn't affect no other parts of your body. But I suffer nothing from it. I got diagnosed a year ago with it, but I don't suffer anything from it either. I'm always working something out in my body, you know. Jamie goes, I'm tired of these 100 temps, 110 heat index in July. Well, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of 110 field degree temperature. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. But if I have a preference, I like it hot rather than I do cold. Now, everybody's different. Some will tell you I prefer the cold over hot. I prefer the cold over hot sleeping, yeah. But when I'm not sleeping, I prefer the hot over cold, if that makes any sense. I know I don't make any, but I don't make any dollars either. But I know Major got out. I was going to have him check out the rhythm here in the chat here. He usually can tell when it's lagging. Rebel Sun goes, anyone recommended any good movies on Netflix? Well, I don't keep the up-to-date movies because I don't ever get to watch TV really, so I couldn't. Scott goes, it's not lagging. Okay, Scott, I didn't think about you, Scott, or I would have said, hey, man, Scott, is it lagging? Usually Major's pretty good about letting me know that. That's why I said Major, but I knew Major wasn't in the chat anymore because I asked him about 10 minutes ago, Major, are you still in here? So it tells me he's gotten off for tonight. It's good. Scott goes, okay. Yeah. I'm going to do a traffic report in a minute. Now, one of the things, I mean, I did get out of Jared last night that's not one of the problems that they were having was, you know, him spending, you know, every night in here. I thought maybe that might have been a problem, especially during the vacation part. But he said that wasn't it. So that was a good thing. But I mean, I say that, but Johnny goes, so do you think Jared or Jade are having problems again? I think they haven't got everything worked out. I know that. But they're back to living together, yeah, in the same house. But he said that he was becoming something he didn't want to be. So that tells me that it had nothing to do with pot, I think, either. Do you think that's why he's not on here tonight? If I was a betting man, I would think either they're probably having an argument right now, or they're having disagreements of some kind. Because remember, he said that he got right with the Lord, but they were still had some stuff to work out, but they were back living together. Scott goes, everybody's different behind closed doors. Well, that's true too. So, I don't know. I just kind of thought he'd be in here tonight since he was last night. But Jamie goes, do you think he will be back on here tomorrow night or anytime this week? No, that's a good question because I don't know. I don't know. Man, I hope he is. Don't get me wrong. I hope he is. Jamie goes, yeah, that's true, Scott. That's really true. It is. You never know what goes on behind closed doors. That's true. That's true. Uh, I don't know when she was supposed to have to go back to work. I think the rest of the vacation probably got canceled, guys, because they were supposed to come back for a day or two here and then finish out the rest of their vacation in Florida. So Scott goes, well, only get his side of the story, not hers. That's true, too. There's two sides to every story. I mean, he didn't say nothing bad about her. He was just mainly talking about himself and said that he was becoming something that, he didn't want to be, So, I mean, he wasn't really saying nothing bad on her about her. Jamie goes, yep, that's right too. There's two sides to every story, but like I said, he didn't really say nothing negative about her. But I didn't know he had drinking issues. Remember, guys, he's talking about alcohol issues. So Scott goes, there's three sides to every story: his, hers, and the truth. Well, but one or the other could be telling the truth, and one or the other could be telling half truths and half lies, and then who knows? But I know that they were supposed to further out the vacation in Florida, come back here for a day or two, then finish out the rest of it in Florida. So I don't think they got to do that. Jamie goes, yep, yeah. But I mean, maybe they'll get their problems worked out. I'm sure they probably will. Scott goes, she probably just needs to move on. Well, I don't know how long they've been together. Now that I don't know either. I don't know. They may have not been together all that long, and they may have been together for a while. Who knows? I'll say this, no matter who's in a relationship, if they truly love one another, they'll work the problems out. If they don't truly love one another, they won't get worked out. Scott goes, some people are not compatible. Well, that's true too. It's like me. I'm not really compatible because I know how I am, So I'm really not compatible with any woman. I'm just not. I don't have time to devote to one. Then even if I did, I still wouldn't live with a woman, That's why I'm saying it's just best to say I'm just not compatible. You know, uh, Jamie goes, yep, yep, that's right. The only way I'd be compatible with a woman is to pay for the sex for 2 hours a night. That would be how I'd be compatible because then you're just paying for the sex part. There's no relationship. There's no uh, commitments, no nothing. You know, I'd be compatible with a prostitute. Because you just pay for 2 hours of sex that you have to devote to sex every night, and then that's it. You know, that's where I would be compatible. Or if I got it free for 2 hours a night, because that's the only freedom that I had to devote to a woman is 2 hours a night. That's it. Uh, I'm a free spirit. I've been a free spirit since I was 5. I've kind of done things how I wanted to do it when I wanted to, no matter what the repercussions were since I was 5 years old. My wife knew that. She knew she couldn't put a leash on me, but I didn't put one on her either. You know, she had the freedom to come and go as she pleased, just like I did. We didn't answer to one another. You know, but on a different note, I agree with most everybody here in Jonesboro. We don't need no more restaurants here. We need things for people to do here that they can afford to take the spouse and the kids to go do here. Something not high dollar like bowling, high jinks, Malco Theater. Now I know city government don't take care of that. That's from private business owners. But what a set mayor can go do is go talk to some big time business owners in major cities and say, hey, what can we do to get you to open up a business like this in our town of Jonesboro? We can give you an incentive if you want to come there. That's what a set mayor can do. You know, uh, and I wish our mayor here would reach out to some big businesses in major cities to get them to open up like a putt golf, a private owner, putt golf course here in Jonesboro like we used to have. And other stuff that is reasonable that people can afford to take them and the wife and kids to go do here. Uh, Jamie goes, how about them cowboys? I like the cowgirls better. That's just me. I always that way. Jamie goes, yeah, yeah, buddy. Love the cowboys. I love the cowgirls better. Yes, yes, cowboys all the way. I never did like watching the Dallas Cowboys. I just liked watching the Dallas Cowgirl cheerleaders, cowboy cheerleaders. Uh, Go karts. Yeah, go karts. Yeah. We used to have one of them here too. That's what I'm saying. Now, I know city government don't pay for that. That's from private business owners that do that. But what a setting city mayor can go do is go talk to some owners that own these in the big cities, see, and say, hey, what could I do to convince you to open up a business like that here in Jonesboro? We maybe work out an incentive to get you to come there. That would work. Yes, yes, go karts, a water park. Yeah, they got a water park in Poplar Bluff. They got a kids water park in Paragould, but we need one for an adults. Here they need one for adults in Paragould. Jamie goes, yeah, yes, we need go karts back. That's true. One thing we don't need in a town of 83,000 is any more damn restaurants. We just don't need that here. I know city government don't have nothing to really do with that either. Don't get me wrong. City mayor and stuff like that, I understand that, and they don't. They don't control that. And they don't. Uh, you know. Uh, but I wished our mayor would go talk to these private business owners that owns these in major cities and say, hey, I know you're doing good here in the major city here, but what could we do to get you to open up a business like that here in our town of Jonesboro? You know, I'm not saying he hasn't went and done that either. I don't know if he has or hasn't, but if he hadn't, I'm trying to plant the seed there to see maybe if he can go do that. Because, I mean, I know he don't control the restaurants that open up here. I get that. He don't. City mayor don't. But We need things for people here that can afford to take the family out to go do here. People ain't going to the Malco anyways. Why? When it's cheaper to buy a DVD player and buy the new DVD. You know, Malcos are fixing to start closing down nationwide because of that. You know, so I mean, it's just a matter of time. Uh, Scott goes, that's why people are moving out. That's true. There's a lot of people moving from this big college town because there's just not much to do here. You know, and that's a shame. You know, this is the biggest town in Northeast Arkansas. The only other town that's bigger than this in Southeast Missouri, which is the same size, is Cape Girardeau, Missouri. You know, so, you know, but don't get me wrong, city government does not control or get the restaurants to come in here. They don't. Like they don't control people that, you know, private business to come open up here, like say a go-kart or, you know, or putt-putt golf courses and stuff like that. They don't. But it'd be nice to know that our mayor could go and talk to these private business owners in the major cities and try to give them an incentive to come here if he can do that. Because, and I'm not saying he hadn't done it, but if he hadn't done it, I wished he would. Because everybody says this here in Jonesboro, we don't need no more restaurants here. We don't. You know, we don't even have a mall here. I know the tornado wiped that out, but I don't know if we're ever going to get a mall here or not. Look how many years that was when the tornado hit here in 2020. So, I don't know. Like you said, Scott, in Denver, there's all kinds of things to do there. Now, I know that's major city, don't get me wrong. Memphis, there's not a shitload of things to do there anymore. And there's not. You know, yeah, you can go to Beale Street, you can go to the Bass Pro Shops, or you might can go check a rap concert out at FedEx Forum or a Grizzlies game, but that's about all there is to do in Memphis anymore, besides shop and eat and risk getting killed, you know. So, or go to a minor league baseball game, you know, but that's about it, you know, in Memphis anymore. They've had plenty of time to rebuild, Scott says. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that. They had plenty of time to rebuild. Oh, that's right, the mall. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the property is finally sold from what I've gathered now, but I don't know whoever owns it, what they're going to do now. I don't know. Most of the businesses that was in the mall, most of them have opened up in other parts of Jonesboro. I think there's still a couple of them that hadn't. But I mean, you know, but we need a mall here. I don't know if we're ever going to get one or not, but we need a mall here. We need other things people can afford to go do here. People are tired of doing the same old, and I get it. Same in Paragould. They're tired of doing the same old, You know, in Little Rock, there's still plenty of things to do there. You know, it's not like Memphis, you know. Well, the thing about it was with the mall, too, the property had to sell. It sold, but I don't know. I mean, I think we probably need someone that's going to run for mayor here that would say, hey, look, I'm like all of you. You're tired of new restaurants opening up here all the time, that there needs to be things for people to do here. Well, if you elect me in here, I will go out and reach out to the big business owners that owns private business in major cities and give them an incentive to want to come here and open up shop here in Jonesboro. What we need to start doing across America, this is just my take, quit hiring fucking politicians. That's just going to come in and do the same old bullshit. Whether it's your mayor, your federal representatives, your federal senators, your state governors, presidents, we need someone that's going to run, not be party affiliated, that's finally going to do something for the people. I think one thing everybody in this nation's tired of is the same old fucking bullshit, you know. And I say that about every form of political office that there is, you know. Plenty of stuff to do in South Texas. Well, there's plenty of stuff to do in Little Rock, you know, as far as that goes. And there is. I mean, compared to Memphis and Little Rock, smaller, but there's still plenty to do there. And then you take Fayetteville. There's more things to do in Fayetteville than here. Now, Fayetteville's a bigger town, don't get me wrong, a bigger college town. But, you know, there's more things to do there than there is here. Paragould and Jonesboro is the same as far as that goes. The only difference is population. You know, it's about as far as the things to do. I mean, I think everybody in the nation is tired of the same old bullshit, same old political bureaucracy, no matter how small a political office or how big. I mean, yeah, it's true. When it comes to city government as a mayor, you got to run it like a business. That's true. You do. But being that you run it like a business, you also try to attract business to come in here and open up. You know, that's true. Whether it's big corporation, small business, big private business, or small private business, you got to do it for all of it. I'm not saying this mayor's not doing that. I'm not saying it. But it's showing a pattern here. There's no private businesses other than restaurants coming in here and opening up. You know, same old, same old, same old. If you won't change, you got to vote that in. But I would tell you this: you're just voting in even if you vote in a new mayor here, you're just going to vote in the same old, whether it's Democrat, Republican, or Independent. They just work for their parties. You know. They're not going to get anything changed for here. It's going to be restaurants, the only thing that keeps opening up here. You know, I think the people in every part of this country need to say, hey, we're just not going to vote for anybody if it's going to be the same old bullshit. What sense is it? Your vote is not doing no good. Even if you vote a different person in, they're still doing the same political bullshit. It's just a different party. I mean, the nearest place to do a lot of things at is with, you know, don't have to take so much of a chance on your life as Little Rock, you know. We can take, like, for instance, over here at Jack in the Box, an Exxon gas station. Every night, the whore has to have the police called over there because there's anywhere between as low as 20 to as high as 50 high schoolers that are out for the summer congregating, doing drugs and alcohol, and wanting to fight because they don't have nothing else to do. You know, the young people need to have something to do here that they can afford to go do, you know. So, you know, if you want to keep your youth out of trouble and off of drugs and alcohol, you got to have things for them to do that's besides just going out and eating and going to hijinks that they can't afford to go to, the bowling alley they can't afford to go to, and they can't afford to go to a Malco. but they can afford to do drugs and alcohol because it's cheaper, you know, and school's out for the summer, you know, but you got to do something to keep them busy, you know. So, and when you don't have that in a population of 83,000, then you're going to have what happens out there every night. Maybe one day you will change. What do you mean change? I mean, on what? Because it says maybe one day you will change. Like maybe Jonesboro will get stuff one day. Oh, you mean Jonesboro change? Well, I mean, it's just been the same old. I mean, Copenhagen won re-election. Don't get me wrong, and you do see a mayor here that when something new opens up, he's at the ribbon cutting. Nothing wrong with that. That's what a set mayor does. But it's just same old new stuff, basically. I mean, it'd be nice to see Copenhagen do a ribbon cutting at a new private owned business that's like a go-kart or, like the fake ice skating rink we used to have in the winter months brought back, you know, or see him ribbon cutting at another putt-putt golf course coming in here, you know. But if you want something for young people to do when school's out for the summer that they can afford to go do, you know, you got to go talk to these businesses in other towns to get them to come here. Now, I'm not saying he hadn't done that. He might have, but we never hear him talk about it, you know. Like maybe, yeah, I mean, I doubt it. Uh, I mean, and all he could do would be go and talk with them and say, hey, what can we do? Give you an incentive to come here and open up shop here. It would say, hey, it would go over well here. You know, keep the process compatible with other business and stuff like that. Then yeah, you got to think outside the box is what I'm saying, Mr. Mayor. I'm not saying that you hadn't. I'm not saying that you have either. I don't know. But I never hear Copenhagen bring this up. It'd be nice to hear him bring it up and say, well, you know, I heard what Ozzy had to say on his live show, and I have went and talked to private business in the big towns to try to get them to come here, but I can't get them to come here. It'd be nice for him to maybe hold a conference and say something like that. You know, I know that people are tired of getting the same old new restaurants opening up here. I'm tired of it too. It'd be nice if he would come and hold a press conference and say something like that. You know, because I just see it the same old, same old. But it's not just Jonesboro, it's in every town in America, you know, in every political office there is. It's the same old, same old. It might be different party, but same old routine. In the Christmas parade, he was riding in a brand new Corvette, talking about Copenhagen. Must be nice. The only car I have is a Hot Wheels car. But that I'm sure that wasn't his Corvette. That was the city, probably belonged to somebody else. You know, a lot of mayors do that, you know, so and I'm sure he makes good money being the mayor. I mean, you know, I'm sure he should, you know. But it's true, you got to run a mayor's office like it's a business, and that's true. I get that. You know, but I wish he would go maybe to, you know, major cities and try to get some of these private business owners to open up shop here. Because I'm telling you, the majority of the people here in Jonesboro say that we don't need no more new restaurants here. Now he don't control that, like I said. That's private business. He don't control that, you know. But the only thing he can control is going and talking to these private business owners in other towns, and maybe offering them incentive if he could to come here. You know, that's about all he can do. How long has he been in office there? Well, I think this was his third term. I think winning second or third term. I know that. But I mean, he may have, and I don't know it. You know, it could be that too. Who knows? I don't know. But Jamie goes, yep, that's right. It was either his second or his third term in. I know that. Uh, I think it's the third term. Jamie goes, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was his third term. I mean, I'd rather him won as that one smart ass that was on the city council. I mean, I was like Copenhagen about it. He kind of went underhanded. He just started talking bad about Copenhagen's wife, and naturally that pissed Copenhagen off. I think it was a low blow, personally. I was like Copenhagen about it. Like you said on Channel 8, it's one thing if he talks about me, but I'm not going to take that, him talking about my wife, and I didn't blame Copenhagen for that. It was a low blow. I forget what his name was, but I didn't care for him. We are tired of not having nothing to do here in Jonesboro. Well, I mean, I get it. That's the way it's always kind of been here. I mean, yeah, we used to have some of these other things, but it's always been mainly a shop and eat Jonesboro. Basically that's all since I can remember, since I was 5 years old. You know, I mean, well, I would say even if it was a different party member in as city mayor, it'd just be the same old, same old. Jamie goes, me and my family are tired of not having nothing to do but go out to eat and shop, and that's it, and maybe fish and hunt. That's about it for the poor kids. The rich kids can afford to go to hijinks, the bowling alley, to a Malco theater. There's nothing to do here now. There's not. Nothing at all. It looks like it's just me, you, and Scott now. I think Rebel got out. Red got out. Uh, a new major head. Someone said once about me running for mayor, I wouldn't even pay the fee to run for mayor because I know I wouldn't be elected. Just loyal ones, that's right. I think Rebel's son got so stoned he must have passed out. Probably is what happened. All right, that's what I said. If you're in the poor class, all you can afford to do is that go fishing and hunting. Maybe go out to eat every now and then. That's about it. You know. But I wouldn't even pay the fee to run for mayor because I knew I wouldn't run. I wouldn't win. You know. But I mean, if I ran for mayor, it would be, I just simply say this: if you're tired of the same old, then you'll want to vote me in. Because the thing about it is, I'm like all of you. I'm tired of the same old bullshit to do here. And I would go and talk to big private business in the major cities to try to give them an incentive to come here and open up. That way you do have things to choose from to go do here that you can afford to go to. If you're tired of the same old bullshit, then I'd say put me in. Then if I haven't brought at least help bring a couple of businesses here, like what we used to at least have here, go-karts and putt-putt golf carts, then vote me out next term. You don't ever hear a politician saying that. You never hear that. If I don't agree to get what I claim I can get, then you vote me out the next term. Have you ever heard a politician talk like that? No. You know why you won't? Because they're a politician. Period. I wouldn't run as a politician. you know. But if I ran for office, it wouldn't be no higher than a mayor's office, you know. If you really want to do something for this town and give back to it and be a mayor, yeah, it's nice to be at all the ribbon cuttings, but be at some ribbon cuttings to some new business that's something that people will say, well, hey, that's something different. We ain't had that here before, you know. I would be a mayor that wouldn't go to every ribbon cutting either. That would be me. And I would give the people here an update once a month. I'd hold a conference to let what I have got, you know, going in negotiations to try to get private business to come here and what I haven't got done, you know. I think all political offices really have taken advantage of the people, you know, in general. It's not just the mayor's office, it's your federal representatives, your federal senators, your governors, your state senators, state representatives, and your presidents. I think they've all abused their authority, you know, and taken for granted the American people, you know. I think the American people in general are tired of that shit. Yep, Jamie goes, yeah, that would be cool. Yep, that would be good. I mean, I think when it came down to Trump and Kamala Harris, they wasn't too satisfied with either one. The American people wasn't. I think the only reason why Trump won it is because one, they didn't want a woman to be president. Secondly, a woman of color. Then two, they knew it'd be 4 more years of Biden. They didn't want that, and that's the only reason why they voted Trump in. You know, that was my take on it. She goes, yeah, that's right, that's true. Yes, you know, but that's for a presidential job, one that I wouldn't have. Doesn't pay enough. I mean, look what's going on with the Iran deal now. You know, I think the American people in general are thoroughly frustrated with this Iran thing. It don't matter what side of the aisle you're on, Democrat or Republican. The American people are not happy about this whatsoever. Another Middle Eastern conflict war that should have done been taken care of a while back. Jamie goes, yes, yeah, you know. So I can guarantee you right now his popularity is really going south, Trump says. American people are mad. Yep, they're not too happy. Uh, the gas prices went down, but they're fixing to go back up. I know a lot of people right now are not too happy with Sarah Huckabee either, because starting July 1st, you cannot buy junk food with food stamps anymore. And let me tell you the difference between junk food and wholesome food when it comes to food stamps. Junk food goes further and it's cheaper. Wholesome food is higher and doesn't go as far. So that's why people buy generally junk food with food stamps, because you get more of it and it goes further. So I'm not a big Sarah Huckabee fan either. Another reason why I'm not, she named a friend of mine and showed his bad qualities, but she didn't show none of his good qualities. I won't say his name. So I'm not a big Sarah Huckabee Sanders fan either, you know, and I'm not. She's another one that will pick out someone's drug cases that they had that's been finalized and don't talk about the good things he's been doing for about the last year and a half. So I wasn't a big fan of her to fucking begin with. And she wouldn't want to meet me face to face because I would probably do something that she would not like. I'm just not a big fan of her. And I wouldn't care what her political standings are. I just don't care for her. That, and then what's going over in Brooklyn as far as the State Highway 49 through there. And Madam Rose is not getting anywhere with her either. So when it comes to people like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I'm not going to be a big fan of. It wouldn't matter what her political agenda is, because she don't care about people with disabilities. She only cares about talking about someone's bad qualities, but not their good qualities. And everybody has bad and good qualities. Believe me, she does. And she is not going to be the next female president. I guarantee you that. If that was going to be the case, Kamala Harris probably would have come closer to getting that, although she was a woman of color. You know, uh, Scott goes, we will see what happens midterms. Well, you got to think the only ones they have to choose from in midterms is Democrat and Republican mostly. So, I mean, people are tired of the Democrats, but they're tired of the Republicans too. They're just not getting anywhere for them as American people, you know. So I say people are tired of the same old bullshit. That's just my kind of take on it. You know, I could be wrong. Now, Mike Beebe, when he was governor here, he was a Democrat, but he was a conservative Democrat. And he went to college right here at Jonesboro. And that's what he was, you know. So, and when he was governor, our lieutenant governor was Republican, you know. So, but I'm just not a big Sarah Huckabee Sanders fan, you know. Now people will, their food stamps will not go as far now because they'll have to buy wholesome food starting July 1st, which means that affects kids in this state. So, but what do you expect from someone that was born with a golden foot in her mouth? You know, that's what you should expect. I mean, I didn't like her when she worked for Trump the first time. I thought she was an utter smartass. You know, I didn't think Trump was as much of a smartass as she was. She's not worried about it. Well, I know she ain't worried about it. She don't care. She's another politician that don't give a shit. You know, most politicians don't. You got to understand why. They get wealthy off the American people, so they don't care. You know, and they don't. One, because they're a politician. Two, they get wealthy in their seats. You know, they don't care except what they can get off the people. She's making money off with you. Well, she probably is making money off me. I don't know how, but she probably is. But of course, here you can only be a governor twice. So, I mean, I remember when Clinton was governor, he was governor here till they changed and made term limits. He was governor here for so many times. Her time is about over. I know it. I wish her time never started. I mean, I didn't have too much against her dad when he was governor here. I mean, I didn't, anyways, as far as that went. You know, he got out and exercised and changed his health. I give him that. Uh, he was a two-term governor here. But I just kind of thought when Trump was in the first time, I thought he could have hired someone better to represent part of his cabinet than her. But she wasn't in that long and she got out. So it's one thing to point out someone's bad qualities, but when you learn what their good qualities are, put that out there too. I'll end the show tonight at 2 hours again because I'll try to get a couple of the things done that I didn't get done today, but it's not going to be much of it tonight. And the 2 hour mark will be up in about another 20 minutes. Jamie, are you okay? I missed that one comment from Jamie. Hey, they are all mad about this Iran. Yeah, I know they are. I know they are. I know that American people in general are not too happy with it. I mean, if what he said was true in the beginning, why are we even over there? If we only use 2% of that oil from there, then what are we even doing over there? You know, I would have just let it go if nothing else. That's just me. You know, if I knew it wasn't going to hurt us to go without it, then I wouldn't even be doing anything. I think that's the way the rest of the world is. They look at it as they don't use much of that oil, so that's why they wasn't willing to help America out in the deal. Thanks for the hearts. I think it's from Scott. My father bought gas today at Sam's, $2.85. Yeah, I mean, I know it's been down, but it's fixing to go back up. You can well bet. I mean, if all we use is 2% of the oil that comes from there, why are we even there? I mean, if that's the way the rest of the world has felt about it, and that's why they wasn't willing to jump on board to help America with it, then that already told Trump something. Let it fucking go. Because what it did was make our gas go out the roof, which made everything else go up. Well, I think your dad's in Texas, so that's 285. I think that's pretty low compared to what it was. Let me see. Check this one phone. Well, I don't have that phone backed up, do I? No. Okay. Let me see if this is charged up. Yeah, it's charged up. Let me unhook it. I'm going to hook that other one up into it. Okay. I got my eyes off of it right now, guys. Hang on here. Oh, that's hooked up into it. Okay. Well, this says 93%, so. Okay. Jamie goes, yeah, to what Scott said about his dad getting gas for $2.85. It sounds. That's good for gas, yeah. I mean, yeah, they went back down, but they're fixing to go back up. When Obama was in office, gas was $5 a gallon. Yeah, in Paragould, it got up to $4.85. Didn't stay all that way that long. I think a couple of weeks, and it started going back down. I remember when gas started originally going up is when Clinton was in office, I think second term, and he was asked to tap into our reserves, and he said he wouldn't do it because we'd run out of fuel here within a few years. But that's different today. I mean, if we're only using 2%, only 2% of our oil and stuff comes from there, then it's not worth us fucking with. The way I look at it, you know. Jamie goes, yep, it was high. I remember gas being 85 cents. I remember it cheaper than that in the 70s. Remember at one time it was 65 cents a gallon in the 70s. It went up to $3 a gallon on Carter's watch because inflation went out the roof. Didn't stay that way very long and went back down to 65 cents. But that's probably why no other country was willing to go on board with Trump when it come to Iran, because they don't use much oil coming out of there either, and they're not going to miss going without it. If I was to bet on it, I don't know that for a fact. Jamie goes, yep. I mean, if we only use 2% of our oil exported from there, I think it's worth it to leave it the hell alone and pull our troops back out and have them come home. he would get more respected for doing that. Uh, but he would have been ultimately respected for not doing anything about it at all. Uh, if that's the case, that is. I don't know. I mean, I know one thing, it's not good. I mean, I don't know. We just need to clean house over there. Well, we need to do one thing or the other. We either need to get the hell out or, like you said, clean house over there and get it over with. Because I guarantee you this, if this continues by the time he gets out, it will not go over good for Vance. I can tell you that right now. It will not. And either a Democrat will win re-election, or if a Republican runs against Vance, that Republican will win. So that's what I'm saying. This is not looking good for Vance if this continues out. And I think Vance knows that too. Men, women, and children. Yeah, there you go. But, I mean, he needs to do one or the other, pull out or take care of business. And I wasn't no big fan of Sarah Huckabee Sanders using taxpayer money to fly to the Trump birthday bash at the UFC fight either. When I learned of that, I was not a happy camper about that. She's rich. She could have used her own personal finances and got that as a tax write-off at the end of the year. You know. So, but did it surprise me in that? No, it didn't surprise me. It surprised me whatsoever. It wouldn't do her no good to repeat what Nixon said, I'm not a crook. Huh? Because he'd be written all over her face. Scott goes, he has a plan. I promise he just cannot tell us. Well, American people's waiting for that plan, if there is one. He needs to do one or the other, though. Pull out or clean house. And if he's going to clean house, he needs to do that ASAP. Jamie goes, yeah, yep. But I mean, if this, like I said, if this is still continuing by the time his election's over with, it will not go good for Vance. And Vance knows it. He's not stupid. It will be over in the next 6 months. Well, we'll see. Jamie goes, yeah. I mean, personally, I don't think we should have done anything to begin with. I think that's what the American people's looking at too, that we should have never went over there. As Elma Gartico goes, good evening from Brazil. Well, good evening, Brazil. Jamie goes, yeah. I mean, if it's true, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. I don't know the psychobabble as far as what we actually use from oil. Out of all of our oil, if we only use that 2% that we use, that means 98% of our oil comes from other countries and with our own too. Then I don't think we should have been over there if that's the case. I mean, what do y'all think? I mean, you know, especially with another Middle Eastern country, you know. I noticed I've been seeing some things on the internet regarding Trump on the housing bill, where he's saying where he don't care about American people's finances, or I know he don't care in real life. He, of course, we know that he don't care about anyone's finances except his own. But all politicians are that way, Democrat and Republicans, so that's nothing new. You know, and people are acting like that's a big shock, him saying that. It's not really, because Democrats think the same way. They don't come out and say it, but they don't care about my finances, your finances, or how much you're paying for housing costs. It wasn't no big shock to me when I seen Trump say that, because Democrats don't care either. The only thing is Democrats won't come out and say that, where he will at least be honest enough to come say it, you know. Scott goes, nobody does. Right. That's what I'm saying. You know, he's not saying something that's not the truth. It's the truth on the Democrat side too. It's just Democrats won't come out and say that. I mean, at least he's man enough to say, well, I don't care about his finances, but I don't care about your finances. I don't care what his housing costs are, but I don't care what your housing costs are. You know, at least he's honest about it, you know, where a Democrat or another Republicans won't even say that, you know. So I respect him enough for being honest, where Democrats won't come out ever and say that, never have, you know, and other Republicans won't come out and say that, you know. Yeah, Scott, nobody does. That's true. Nobody ever has. You know, you're very right, Scott. It's true. I mean, it didn't shock me when he said it. I mean, I thought, well, at least he's an honest enough politician to admit it. You know. Alma goes, I don't understand any English. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, you're probably in the wrong chat. Scott, do your magic work again. To Brazil. Brazil understood English because it types in English, but doesn't understand a word we're saying. Well, you probably don't need to be in here because we are in the US of A, and all we know is English, and we don't know Spanish or Brazilian. Jamie goes, yeah, no. You know, I mean, it's true. You've never heard any politician before him ever admit that. But they all think it. Democrats as well as Republicans think it. The only thing they care about is how much money they make off of it. And Trump's no different, don't get me wrong. But at least he's honest enough to admit it. And the media is all over this trying to make him. But what they're not doing is saying, well, hey, but at least we've never heard a politician be honest enough to say that and tell him. No other Republicans before him have said it. No other Democrats have ever said it. You know, and they don't care. They don't care about your finances, and they don't care about your housing costs. All they care about is getting wealthy off the American people. That's all they do care about, you know. And that's the facts. Thanks, Scott. The one from Brazil said that didn't understand a word we were saying, doesn't know English, but yet know how to type in English. Now, did that make any damn sense to y'all? It didn't to me. Jamie goes, yeah. But that's where they're getting right what Trump is saying, then they stop it. The media, like ABC World News and other ones, he said, you know, you're right. I don't care about American people's finances. I don't care about the American people's housing costs. He's being honest. He don't care. But at least he's honest enough to admit he don't care. Where Democrats have will never admit that, never have. No other Republicans have ever admitted that. Then you get one that admits it like him, and yet the media wants to stop it right where he says that. But it's true, he don't care. But what he's basically telling you is no other politician before me has said it, and no other one probably past me is ever going to say it. Jamie goes, no, you know. And he don't, I mean, at least he's being honest about it. He doesn't care, you know. But what politician gets in any political office and does something for the American people? None. None has. They're not going to. Not a mayor, not a representative, not a senator, not a governor, not a president. You know, and if you're voting someone that you think that's going to care for that, for the American people, then you're voting for the wrong reason. You know. And that's the truth. You know, if my family was alive and they heard what Trump said regarding, what he said about not caring about the housing costs of American people or their finances, they would have had a field day with it. They said, look, that son of a bitch saying he don't care about American people's housing costs, American people's finances. And I said, that's right. Look at what he's saying. He's the first politician to admit that. They would have looked at me and said, well, you fucking traitor. I said, it's the truth. At least he admits it. No damn Democrat has ever admitted it, nor any other Republican. At least he's man enough to admit it. And that's not fake news media. That's truth media, you know. And it's true with a presidential office. You got to run the country's business like it is a business, just like you do a mayor's office. You got to run the town's business like it's a business. I mean, you got to run the city mayor's office like it's a business. Same with a presidential. You got to run the country's business like a business, and that's what you got to do to be successful at it. And there's only so much you can do as a sitting president. That other ways you have to do is introduce a bill into the House and then hope that they pass it. It goes on to the Senate and hope they pass it where you can get it signed into law. There is some things you can do on your own, but there's some that you need the House and the Senate's, approval on, too. Rebel Sun goes, I'm back. I see that. What did you have to do? Go take a little nap? A stoner's nap? I know I said I was going to do a traffic report. Now it's time for that. This traffic report is brought to you by Parker Road Specialty Pharmacy here on Parker Road. If you need a good pharmacy, come check them out. They'll fix you right up. Mike Sue, the owner, Doreen, Justin, and all the gang here, they'll fix you up. Right now, the traffic report on northbound, southbound Parker Road, northbound, southbound I-555, dead. Southwest Drive, got a few cars going northbound and southbound. Now there's 2 cars going southbound on the exit ramp going on to I-555 south. That's your traffic report. But yeah, at least, when I seen this today on social media before I left out Stratton, I thought, well, at least he's admitting it. No other politician or any Democrat, Republican has ever admitted that. Joe Manchin, who was a Democrat senator, okay, he got wealthy off the coal mines in Kentucky. I think he's like a billionaire himself. But did he care about your finances in Kentucky? No, he only cared about his own. But now he never did say that. But I think personally he should have been a Republican rather than a Democrat. I think he was more of a conservative Democrat senator is what he was. Jamie goes, yeah, yep, all righty. Yeah, that'd be like saying he cares about Scott's finances. Trump don't. He don't even know who Scott is, like he don't know who I am. So, why would he? But if it's true about Sarah Huckabee Sanders that she used taxpayers' money to pay for her flight to go from Little Rock to Washington, D.C. to watch the UFC fight at the Trump birthday bash, I think that was wrong to use taxpayers' money if she did. When she's quite wealthy enough, she could have used her own finances and wrote it off as a tax write-off at the end of the year and got that money back that way. So I don't think that's right if she did that. We're just nobodies. That's the best way to explain it, Scott. Jamie goes, well, yeah. Scott's financial situation is better than mine, but like you said, we're a couple of nobodies. Trump wouldn't know who we are on our best day and his worst. Well, guys, the show's been on 2 hours, so I guess I'll go ahead and call it a night. Because I'll try to get a couple of the things done tonight that I didn't get done today. So, Scott, thanks, my moderator and friends, always for being here on the live show. You too, Jamie Ann. Tell Timothy I said thank you again. You too, Rebel Son. Thank you for being in here tonight. It was another great show. Hopefully, I'll have this worked out tomorrow. That way, we'll have 2 live shows on tomorrow night. It'll be the TikTok live as well as the YouTube live at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I'm sorry I just didn't have it all worked out before showtime tonight. I'll have it worked out tomorrow. So I'll be going back to Cricket Wireless on Southwest Drive. It's across from Coffee Gallery, in between the Jonesboro Revenue Office and Pizza Inn on the same side of the road in the big orange building. But that was on me because I just assumed it was worked out, and I should have stayed to make sure. So we'll get it worked out tomorrow, everybody. And please tune in tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. hopefully for a dual live show, Central Standard Time on the Strutting Man Show. I'm the host of it, Mr. Ozzy Rose, coming to you live every night from my good friend's pharmacy, Mike Sue, the owner of Parker Rose Specialty Pharmacy here in my hometown in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Scott goes, good night. Good night, buddy. Jamie goes, okay, good night. Yeah, good night, everybody. I hope everyone had a great day. I hope you're having a great evening. I'm going to try to get a couple of things done. Uh, Hopefully to get put out here on social media for the night ends. I will be going strutting tomorrow, Jonesboro, Arkansas. I don't know how far I'm going to get, though. It may be just another day at Cricket Wireless. I don't know. But I'll get to do a little bit of strutting at least anyways. If not, hopefully I can make it all the way to Caraway Road tomorrow. We'll see. But until tomorrow night's show at 9:30 p.m., I'm the Strut Man wishing you a good night. God bless you all. Until tomorrow night, so long for now, everybody. The show highlights is coming up. All right.